Hey everybody, this is No Bones About Wrestling. I'm your host Asa, and I'm here with Kay Fabulous.
Hey.
And this is your AEW All-In Report. This pay-per-view just finished up here. It's August
27th,
2023. And I don't think it's going to be much of a spoiler to tell you. I've seen a lot of pay-per-views. This is one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen. If not the best, from top to bottom, to be honest with you. Let's get right to it. It had a bit of everything. And we'll get right to it. Opening match was the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Title Match. The first two matches were on the 0 hour. These matches were free on YouTube. Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions Aussie Open defending against the team of Better Than You Baby, and that is AEW World Champion MJF and his partner Adam Cole. This match, Kyle Fletcher, got kneed by MJF. Davis got kneed by MJF as well. Adam Cole super kicked Fletcher right on the button, and MJF, he nailed the move that the crowd in Wembley was going crazy for, the kangaroo kick. Nailed it, it looked like on both men.
Yeah, he did it with 1 foot on each man.
And then after that, he and Cole came together, hit the double clothesline. They got the pin and the win for the new World Tag Team Champions, for the Ring of Honor at least, MJF and Adam Cole. So they didn't win the AEW World Tag Team titles that they came together to win in that blind draw tournament that would put them together in the first place, led to their friendship in the first place. But now they've remained friends. Became and remained friends, and put it together and won the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. Kay, what do you have to say about this match?
I really enjoyed this match, and the end surprised me. I really expected Aussie Open to retain. But I have to say, them winning the belts, Better Than You Baby winning the belts, made going into the main event even more exciting, which I didn't think was possible, because then it's like, well, now they have these belts together, so made me really want to know what was going to happen.
Well, I told you that's what was going to happen.
I know you did. You're not always right.
I was right on this shit.
You were right on this one. I'll give you that. So I predicted that Aussie Open would retain, and Asa predicted that Better Than You Baby would win. So he is 1 for 1, and I am 0 for 1. Wah, wah.
And I gave this match 4 bones out of 5. Very good opener.
One thing
and the crowd was hot. And the paid attendance, I'm not sure of the exact figure, but it was just over 81,000, which made it...
It's 81,053.
81,053, which made it the biggest paid wrestling show in the history of Earth. So, pretty goddamn big show.
Yeah.
There was a bigger paid wrestling show. I'll tell you the story of that in just a minute, though.
You mean unpaid?
What did I say?
You said paid.
Oh, there was a bigger wrestling show, but it was unpaid, and I'll tell you the story of that in a couple minutes here. So, the opening match, 4 bones out of 5. And let's head to... There were 2 matches on the 0 hour, the pre-show, before we headed to the pay-per-view portion of events. And let's head to the second match. It was an Ftw title match. And it was Jack Perry defending the Ftw title against Hook. And this one, Jack Perry, he came out in a limo?
It was a limousine, yeah.
And so Hook got at him. He came and kind of rushed him, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Down the ramp. There's a long ramp. Wembley is a big place. If you've ever seen that show, great show, Ted Lasso. It's a TV show. If you've ever seen that show, you know, it's an American football coach who's hired to coach a soccer team in England, and his team makes a big game. They get to a big game, and they're playing at Wembley Stadium in London, and he's trying to calm their nerves, and he said, "Listen, y'all, this field isn't any bigger than the one we play on at home." And then one of the players steps in and is like, "Yes, it is. It's much bigger. It's 4 times bigger than the one we play on at home." And then he goes, "Is it?" And then they go, "Yeah." And he goes, "This sport, I will never understand this sport, because that's the way it is in England. It's not like here in America where all our fields are regulation size. They're all the same size, because that's how our sports work. In England, like I was just saying, and Wembley is this big, this other Coliseum is this big, and this pitch, as they call them, a field, is this big. They're all different sizes. But my point is, Wembley is gigantic, which is how they fit 81,000 fucking people in there. And so my point also was Hook comes running down this giant entranceway and gives the bum's rush to Jack Perry, and yes.
I was just going to say, for as big as Wembley is, I feel like they did a really good job with building their entranceway not too far from the ring.
Right.
Because, like, think about WrestleMania and how long it takes for them to get down the ramp to the ring.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't feel like that for All In. It felt like the ramp was just, like, I don't know, maybe 2 times longer than normal, but not like 8 times longer than normal like it feels at WrestleMania. So it didn't take like 20 minutes for someone to make it to the ring.
You're right, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so Hook rushed Perry, and he grabbed Perry, gave him a fisherman suplex on the car's windshield. And Perry also hit a rolling senton. Back in the ring, Perry hit a rolling senton on Hook. But Hook locked in the kata hajime, that rear naked choke, of course popularized by his father, Taz, and instantly Jack Perry tapped out. Hook avenged his only professional loss and became a 2-time Ftw champion. And, you know, Jack Perry was making all these claims that he was going to retire the Ftw title. I don't know if Hook has the same thing in mind. Somehow I doubt it. But we will find out.
What was the name of that move?
Kata Hajime.
I thought he did the red rum. Is that
it's
the
called
same thing?
Yeah, the red rum.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it used to be called the Kata Hajime. That's what they called it in ECW when Taz did it. So
okay.
I'm referring to something from almost 30 years ago.
Okay,
yeah.
But when Hook does it, they call it the red rum.
They call it the red rum.
Okay.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
I
couldn't think of the term red rum.
Okay, but you thought of that one?
Well, we did a watch along with some of our internet friends today, and everyone was being so loud. I couldn't hear the announcers. You know, everyone was talking, and so I could think of Kata Hajime. I could not hear them say red rum.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't, because I wrote down red rum for the win, but I wanted to make sure that was the same hold that you were referring to.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one, the FTW title match, I gave 3.5 bones out of 5. Kay, what do you have to say about this one?
I liked it. I just thought this was a killer way to start off your show, you know? So before Perry suplexes, does the fisherman suplex through the windshield, he also suplexes Hook on the roof of the limo. And then he makes the RVD thumb motion that he does, where he points at himself. Mm-hmm. And then he does a rolling senton onto the hood of the car on top of Hook. Very cool. And then there was a moment that I really enjoyed where Perry teased like he was going to do the Shane McMahon coast to coast on top of a trash can with Perry on the other side.
What that was, no, actually, that's a move. That's another RVD move.
Oh, see,
RVD popularized that. It's called the Van Terminator.
I thought the Van Terminator was when he tosses you a chair and then kicks it at you.
That's the Van Daminator.
Oh, I see. Oh.
That's the Van Daminator. And then you got the Van Terminator.
So do you think we're gonna get RVD coming back since he's doing his moves like a little? Like, do you think we're gonna get another RVD Perry match?
I hope so. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd be open to it.
That'd be cool. Well, anyway, so he acts like he's gonna do it, and the crowd is like on their feet, and they're about to they're like you can feel the collective breath being drawn in so that they can go crazy in a few seconds. And then he just hops down from the top turnbuckle and just flips everybody off. It was like such a great heel moment.
All right. Yeah, definitely. Jack Perry is doing better at being a heel. I think he's kind of coming into his own in that role.
Yeah, I feel like the turn was a really good move for him.
Definitely. Because you can only wear the jungle print and dance around as Jungle Boy for so many years until
you start getting strange looks.
Yeah, until you become a jungle man, and then it gets a little odd, you know? Or fuck, maybe he could have done it forever, and who knows? Ric Flair still calls himself the Nature Boy, and he's fucking, 70-something, so...
That's a good point.
But Nature Boy doesn't really mean anything, does it?
Plus, he started being Nature Boy already when he was old.
He wasn't old.
Well, like, not young like Jack Perry was as
True.
Jungle Boy. Like, he was already a man.
Yeah. He was a nature man.
Nature
Already.
It sounds like a type of, like, veggie burger. Nature man.
So, next up, we had a match for the quote-unquote real world title. That, of course, held by CM Punk, who still has his championship belt. He says he was never pinned for the world title. He never submitted. All he did was get injured. So he is still the real world champion.
It's worth noting this is now the official main card. We are no longer in the pre-show.
Right, thank you. Yeah, thank you for noting it. This is now the pay-per-view has begun. There are 9 matches on the pay-per-view, 11 matches on the card total. So CM Punk, Samoa Joe, they've fought many times. CM Punk has won once, and that was actually their last meeting. Their most recent meeting is the only one CM Punk has won. Is their most recent one. At one point during this match, there's a shitty Hurricane Rana by CM Punk. I'm not sure whose fault it was, but it looked shitty. Also, at one point, they went to the outside. CM Punk got thrown under the announce table, and he came out bloodied. Not sure if it was the hard way or if he bladed or what the deal was. I assume he bladed, but his face was a crimson mask by the end of it, and it looked good. It definitely added to the match. Two battled for several minutes. Nice, brawling, fighting type of wrestling match. Very entertaining, very realistic looking. CM Punk ended up winning with a pedigree off the ropes, believe it or not. And he got the pin and the win after that move. Gave this one 4 bones out of 5. Very good match by these two. I could watch these two, fight any day of the week. These two, they bring the realism to a wrestling match, and it's obvious that's one of the top things that they want in their match is for it to look realistic. Is if the fans can suspend disbelief, that it will look and seem real, and I really appreciate that. So you have 4 bones out of 5. Kay, what do you have to say about the real world title match?
Well, first of all, I want to point out, I can't remember if we said this for the last match. Did we say our predictions and who was right for the last one?
I'm sorry. So, I'm not sure if we did. So, yeah, for the last match...
we both had picked Hook.
For the last match, both of us picked Hook. So, after that, I was 2 for 2. And Kay was 1 for 2. Mm-hmm. For this match, we both picked CM Punk. So I was 3 for 3, and Kay was 2 for 3.
There was one moment in this match that I felt like was silly and kind of took me out of the match. CM Punk was like in the ropes with his torso. His torso was between the top and middle rope, and Joe kept chopping him, and he would rock back and then pop back forward and get chopped again. And they did it like 4 or 5 times. He looked like one of those birds that like dips into the water glass, you know?
Yeah.
Really stupid. Yeah. Like, infuriatingly stupid.
It was like a kid's, what's it called? Seesaw.
Yeah, it was like
he was coming back up like a seesaw. He'd hit him, he'd go down, he'd come back up.
Yeah.
He'd hit him, he'd go down, and it was just dumb.
It was so stupid.
Yeah,
and
really
such
dumb.
A good match.
It went against everything I just said about the realism.
I'm sorry, it's my first note.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You're right. You're totally right.
And it was right before the shitty Hurricane Rana from Punk. And so I was like, oh, this isn't going to be good.
Yeah, the match did not start off well.
But then
that's a good point. The match it started off rough.
But it quickly turned around, I think. One thing I wanted to note is there were a few really good high kicks from Joe. That man can get his leg up high for such a big dude. Like, he had one on the outside when Punk was in a chair, and he kicked him right in the face, which wasn't as high as when he did it again in the ring with Punk standing and, like, pinned him against the turnbuckle with a high kick to the face. I was, like, shocked. Because that's some super flexibility right there to be able to kick that high from such a big dude. At one point, CM Punk had a Hogan-style leg drop after he did the Hogan twirly hand listening to the crowd thing.
He's been doing that lately.
Been doing that a lot, yeah.
Oh, and he spray painted the belt like Hogan.
Yeah.
He's become Hulk Hogan.
Don't say that about CM Punk.
And he wants to be in control of what happens
with his character,
behind and in front of the curtain.
Yeah.
He has become Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
No. The only other thing that I feel like is worth noting that you left out is that Punk bit Joe on the head.
Yeah, true.
I love the biting. I love when there's biting in the wrestling matches.
All right. Yeah, good match. Solid match. But yeah, like you said, it was worth noting. It did not start off well. Yeah, I didn't have a good feeling about it at first.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a mess, but it turned around well.
And I think it was better than the first Punk Joe match we saw in the Owen Hart quarterfinals.
Yeah. Or no, they were in the
semifinals?
I think they were in the semifinals.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's where they faced. All right. Up next, we had a 6-man tag team match. And this was probably the match I was most looking forward to. I thought it was going to be the match of the night. It ended up not being, but that's okay. It was still really good. The Golden Elite, that's the team of Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and Kota Ibushi. And they took on Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takeshita. And Takeshita, of course, accompanied by Don Callis. Let's see. Omega hit a senton onto White and Takeshita early on. At one point, Takeshita hit a really nice blue thunder bomb on Omega, spun him around, and had him really high up in the air. There's a crazy end sequence to this match. Omega hit a V-trigger on Juice Robinson and Jay White, and he then got rolled up by Takeshita in a schoolboy pin, I believe it was, for the 1, 2, 3, and Takeshita pins Omega in front of 80,000 fans and gets the win. And I did not have that one coming, so this is the first match I missed for the night. So I was 3 for 4, and Kay also missed this one, so she was 2 for 4. And Kay, what do you have to say about this match?
So before I run down my highlights, I'm so surprised that Callis didn't play a role in this outcome. Because he was at ringside. And especially since the heels won, I mean, the heels won clean. It's just very surprising. Like, the Guns provided a few distractions at a few points because the Guns were also at ringside. But, yeah, I'm still blown away by the result of this. I expected this to be the match of the night also, this or the tag match with Ozzy Open, who I love. But I agree, it wasn't the match of the night, but it's not because this match was bad. There were just other matches that were better.
Yeah, this match was still plenty good.
Yeah.
But just there were matches that were better, yeah.
There was a great Hurricane Rana at one point by Omega on Takeshita, which, like, I'm always impressed when they do Hurricane Rana on big dudes and make them look plausible, you know? Like, CM Punk did not successfully do that with Joe, but this one on Takeshita, who I consider a big dude, I mean, he's super tall,
guy, yeah.
Omega made it look great, and Takeshita sold the shit out of it. There was a good punch exchange between Omega and Robinson, where they just stood in the middle of the ring punching the crap out of each other. I also noted the Blue Thunder Bomb. His Blue Thunder Bomb looks so good. It's normally, I think, is one of his finishers or his finisher, and so it wasn't in this case. But yeah, I just felt like the ending was odd. It seemed like it was a pin out of nowhere. You know, like Omega was getting in all the offense, and then all of a sudden, he just gets scooped up.
It was a very strange pin, very strange finish. Didn't seem like it deserved to be the finish of the match.
No.
Why a roll up? Yeah, it was odd. It seemed like something was wrong. Seemed like the finish you would do if someone was injured or something. And maybe someone was. I don't know.
It didn't seem that way, though.
We're doing this show right after the show.
So we haven't heard any of the...
We haven't heard any backstage rumors. I take that back. The one, not to take anything from this, the one backstage rumor I did hear is that there was some sort of and take this with a grain of salt, there was some sort of altercation between CM Punk and Jack Perry backstage. I know on Collision there was some a couple weeks back, Jack Perry was supposed to do something that involved, glass, and there was either he wanted to use real glass or he wanted to use fake glass. I think he wanted to use real glass. And all the older guys were like, "No, dude, use fake glass for that." And he didn't want to listen. And I think Punk, I think this is the case. I think Punk was like, use fake glass. He's like, "We don't do that on Saturday nights. Man, you can do that bullshit on Wednesday night all you want, but here on Saturdays we use fake glass." I believe that's the side he came down on, was the pro fake glass, not real glass. I could have it the other way, but I think I'm right. But whatever case it was some argument over glass and a stunt. And so something happened. We made a mention that Jack Perry and Hook were fighting on this car. And at some point, Hook fisherman suplexed Jack Perry on the car windshield, and allegedly Jack Perry had something to say to CM Punk as he headed towards the back after his match, and there was some sort of altercation, and that's all I've heard. And that could be true, could not be true. I'm just letting you know that's what the internet said, and that can be a very dangerous thing. But that's the internet rumor, so who knows if that's true or not. But that's the one piece of backstage gossip I've heard coming from this. What the hell got me started on that?
We were talking about the odd ending and how
we were unsure
if it was because of someone being injured or if it was just planned to have an odd ending.
Yeah, so I haven't heard if someone was injured, but the Takeshita roll-up of Omega is the type of ending you would do if someone were injured. And that's the way it struck me.
Yeah. It looked like everyone was moving okay when they were... Like, it didn't look like anyone had to be helped back to the back,
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. It seemed like a 6-man tag involving this much talent doesn't seem like it'd end on a roll-up.
Yeah.
And involving Don Callis at ringside didn't seem like it'd end on a simple roll-up pin.
Yeah.
So I think there's more to this than meets the eye, perhaps. So I will look into it, and you'll hear from us if I can find something out about it. You'll hear from us here on the show. Up next, holy cow, AEW World Tag Team Title Match. The champions, FTR, defending against the Young Bucks. Where do I start here? We got some spots. There's a nice senton by the Bucks. At one point, dual sharpshooters by FTR on the Bucks. Each member of FTR had a member of the Bucks and a sharpshooter. There was a nice double team spike pile driver by FTR on Nick Jackson. FTR hit the Shatter Machine. Looked like it might have been over. Very shortly after that, the Young Bucks hit the Shatter Machine of their own. They stole FTR's finisher. And then, very soon after that, FTR hit a second Shatter Machine on Nick Jackson. And they got the pin and the win after a hard-fought match. FTR kept their belts. Very good match. 4.5 bones out of 5. Terrific match. This was probably the second best match of the night, I would say. This one, I predict the Young Bucks to win. I thought Cash Wheeler's legal troubles going on. I thought that Tony Khan might want to get the belts off of them. I was wrong. He keeps the belts on FTR. So after this match, I was 3 for 5. And Kay picked the Young Bucks also. And after this, she was 2 for 5. So neither of us doing too great today on the picks. So Kay, what do you have to say about the World Tag Team Title match?
This match was fantastic.
It was fantastic.
Both these
great tag team wrestling.
Both these teams are just so capable and accomplished in the ring at double teaming, and I feel like they both really shined. Both teams shined in this match as far as their dipping into their various tools in their tool belts. All 4 men were in the ring brawling all at one time early on, which I like to see sometimes in a tag match, especially one where there's a lot of pride on the line, which I feel like there was in this match, not just pride, but the belts. Really good double team work from the Bucks early on. There was a good super kick by Matt to Dax to prevent Cash from tagging in at one point. One of my favorite moments in the match was a series of, I called them rolling suplexes. I'm sure there's a real name for it, but where you suplex into a pin
rolled
and then
into
roll,
another,
and then roll into another. It was
like the Northern Light suplex.
Yeah.
I forget what the term would be for that, but I know everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I just called it rolling suplexes. But there was a really great series of them between Matt and Dax where they were both doing them to each other, and it led to several near fall moments, and it just made such a great dramatic moment in the match. I don't know if you mentioned this, but we saw a 450 from Cash fucking Wheeler.
I thought we did.
Yeah, we did. We saw a 450 from him, and he missed.
I thought my eyes were wrong.
No, that was a 450. He was trying to do it on Matt Jackson, who rolled out of the way, but he got it. I mean, he got the 450 turn. It was, if he has that in his...
you saw it too. You saw it too.
Yeah.
A 450.
It was a 450.
That's what I thought I saw too.
I swear it was a 450.
Okay.
But if he has that in his back pocket, do you know how many FTR matches I've seen? And I have not seen him do that?
Well, see, maybe he can do it, but he just can't do it accurately.
So that's why I had him roll out of the way.
Yeah.
But I mean...
So he could kill someone.
Yeah. I see. So, like, maybe he can't land softly.
Yeah.
I gotcha. That makes sense. And I loved the Shatter Machine battle, you know? It was just great. It was just a really fun match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Great match. All right. Still tag team champions, FTR. Up next, it was kind of the midway point of the night. Let me see.
This is the 6th match.
Yeah, so not kind of the midway point. It was the midway point of the night. The Stadium Stampede match. You had the Blackpool Combat Club, which was the team of Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, and Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli, along with Mike Santana. He has a first name now, apparently, and it's Mike, and Ortiz. And they were taking on the team of Eddie Kingston, Penta El Cerro Miedo, the Best Friends, Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, and international champion Orange Cassidy. And this was a wild one.
You left Eddie Kingston's belt off when you were introducing
Oh, Eddie Kingston, the New Japan Openweight champion. Excuse me. Left his belt off. So this one, Moxley, early on, he takes barbed wire to Trent's forehead, and Trent is bleeding. Moxley pile driver on Trent. Trent's mother, Sue, arrives in the minivan. She rides bearing gifts. She has baked goods, and they take the baking sheets and start smashing each other in the head with them. At one point, Penta disappears. No one knows where he is. That's because he's doing a costume change. So that wasn't very helpful, but maybe it was. I don't know. But he transforms into Penta Oscuro, the dark Penta. And when he returns, Penta hits a sunset bomb off the ladder. Orange Cassidy suplex Wheeler Yuta onto Lego, which I'm told is the plural of Lego.
It is correct.
Lego is the plural of Lego. Claudio Castagnoli gets the big spin on Orange Cassidy, one of my favorite moves in the history of wrestling. Orange Cassidy gets his bearings back, hits the orange punch on Claudio Castagnoli, and then Orange, he puts masking tape on his hand, and we wonder why he's doing that. And then he brings out a bag and he pours it into
It's a bucket full of broken glass.
Thank you.
What it is.
Yeah, it's a bucket full of broken glass.
And it's duct tape.
And then he sticks his hand in it, and so now he has a sticky tape hand covered in glass.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna orange punch someone with a glass hand. But Moxley heads him off. Claudio hits a European uppercut. So Eddie Kingston comes in on the scene. He hits a spinning back fist onto Claudio Castagnoli and onto Moxley. Puts Moxley through a barbed wire piece of wood. And why the fuck don't I have the finish written down?
I do. Orange Cassidy does an orange punch to Claudio with his glass-covered hand.
And
pins him and wins.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
So, the team of Orange Cassidy, the Best Friends, Penta El Cerro Miedo, and Eddie Kingston pick up the win. This one, let me see what I predicted. I think I predicted the heels to win.
You did.
I did. So at this point, I was 3 for 6. And Kay also predicted the heels. So she was 2 for 6.
I'm doing terribly.
We're both doing terribly. But things could still pick up. Like I said, we're at the halfway point. Usually we do better in our predictions. But that's one of the things about AEW that I like, is it is unpredictable. You know, it's not, WWE shows, I might come on here and go almost perfect, or go, 75, 80% on my picks. AEW, here I am, I'm 50%, halfway through the show at least. But yeah, this was a fun match. It was wild. 4 bones out of 5. Just the type of craziness you would expect from a stadium stampede match with these competitors in it. Kay, what do you have to say about this one?
I thought that I could read my list of things that were used during this match.
Okay.
So we started out with trash cans and chairs and trash can lids. We have skewers, like bamboo skewers that were sponged into Moxley's head and were sticking out of them at one point. We have a barbed wire covered pipe, a metal barricade that got bent in half when someone was thrown onto it. We have kendo sticks. We have multiple umbrellas, which I enjoyed just because they were in England, and it's so rainy there. We had ladders, multiple ladders. We had a barbed wire covered table. We had several tables. We had steel steps. We had a drinks table in the back. We had a screwdriver. We had Lego. We had broken glass fist. We had baking sheets. And I think that's everything. So yeah, I was very pleased with the variety and the plethora of stuff that was involved in this match.
Me too.
I think they did a good job of giving us a variety of locations without spreading themselves too thin. Like, they did a really good job fighting in the stands so that the audience could still see what was happening. It wasn't like they were all in, like, rooms in the back,
Yeah, they didn't do too much in the back. They kept it in the...
Yeah, there was one, the drinks table part was, like, it looked like it was in, like, a box suite kind of a place. But that was the only thing that really went backstage, except for Penta when he went to go change. Costume change. Yeah, this was fun. I had to look away with the skewers.
Yeah, so did I. I can't take that.
Yeah, it's too much for me.
No, that's too much. I can't even... No.
And so that's my only, like, minor complaint, but I think, again, I don't have a problem with it. It's just not for me,
Yeah, no, I can't deal with that shit.
There was a cool moment when Penta put Santana through 2 tables. Took him a few tries, though, because they broke the ladder just with their own weight. So they had to improvise a new plan on how to get Santana through the tables. But, yeah, just a really fun, bloody match.
Definitely was.
And I'm surprised that the faces won. Because why are you bringing Santana and Ortiz back to lose their first match? Why are you doing that to them?
I agree. Mike Santana.
Well, I call Omega. I don't call him Kenny Omega.
No, I'm just kidding. He's got a first name.
Okay,
Might as well
I'll
use it. Mike Santana.
It's weird when they add first names. Like with Bishop Khan, they did that. They added Bishop in front now.
Yeah.
Odd.
You sure that's not a title?
I'm pretty sure that's not a title. Because they added one for Toa, too.
No, it is weird to bring Santana and Ortiz back and the first match back just to have them lose. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's a big part of why I picked the heels.
That is the whole reason I picked the heels.
I said, they're just Blackpool Combat Club, and they're just coming back. They're going to win. Yeah. Nope.
We should have known. Orange Cassidy doesn't lose these days, He's on a roll.
I do know. Up next, we had a fatal 4-way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. We had the champion, Hikaru Shida, defending against Toni Storm of the Outcasts. Also, Saraya of the Outcasts, hometown girl of London. And Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. So this one, good match. At one point, Toni accidentally hit Saraya's mum. And shortly after that, Toni took off the turnbuckle pad, and Toni and Saraya started fighting in this one. Saraya didn't take too kindly to Toni knocking out her mum, and when they started fighting, Ruby Soho ran out to try and stop this. Toni Storm punched her. She ran away. Dr. Britt Baker eventually put Shida in the lockjaw. While that's happening, though, Saraya sprays spray paint in Toni Storm's eyes and pins her. And Saraya gets the 3 count and is the new Women's World Champion by pinning Toni Storm. And, well, as I said, Britt Baker might have had Sheeta submitting or passing out over in the lockjaw, but the referee went with Saraya pinning Toni Storm and counted the pinfall. And Saraya is your new Women's World Champion. And this one, we both knew that Tony Khan was going to give London a big hometown girl pop. We both picked Saraya to win. So at this point, I was 4 for 7 on my picks. Kay was 3 for 7 on her picks. And this was a good match. I gave it 4 bones out of 5. Solid fatal 4-way match. Kay, what do you have to say about the women's title match?
I love how they used it to progress a storyline, and not just for the match itself.
Mm-hmm. Let me say one last thing. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
One last thing. It is inexcusable to have the biggest wrestling card of all time, biggest paid... Oh, I still didn't tell my story. To have the biggest paid wrestling show of all time, and to have 11 matches on it, and to have only 1 women's match.
Yeah, what the hell?
Inexcusable. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead.
So I liked that Storm and Saraya were working together early, especially because I've had a feeling, as I'm sure lots of people did, that this was going to be the undoing of the Outcasts.
Mm-hmm.
They started fighting over a pin early, though. So, right after they worked together, that's when they started fighting. Yeah, I was worried about this match because of Saraya, and I don't think I needed to be. I thought that she did the best I've seen her do in this match, and I wish that I had given her the benefit of the doubt, which I did not. I said she was going to be the worst person in this pay-per-view, and I don't feel like that was true. I think she did a solid job. Yeah. I love her submission hold that she does. It's so pretzel-like that I can't even describe it. Mm-hmm. But it's one of my favorite submission moves, period. Just because, it's the way she contorts the body of the person that she's submitting. It's, mind-boggling to me. It's so cool. But yeah, all of her stuff landed in this match. Her forearms didn't look weak. They looked like they had some oomph behind them.
It was her best performance since returning.
Yeah, definitely.
From injury.
Yeah. I'm interested to see where they go with this story-wise. I don't think they should keep the belt on her for long. I'd like to see Toni Storm win it back from her. I am very much looking forward to the Toni Storm promos we're going to get after this match. I think they're going to be delightful.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked this match, but I agree with you. There should have definitely been more than one women's match on the show.
Inexcusable.
Yeah.
I mean, get Willow Nightingale, give her a match, or let's have a women's tag team match, or something.
Even on the pre-show.
Or a 4-way women's tag. Mm-hmm. Get some more women on this card.
Yeah.
Or on the 0 hour. Mm-hmm. You got a fucking hour. You can't throw some more women on this?
They did a 2-hour pre-show.
They did a 2-hour pre-show and just did 2 matches.
Yeah.
You can't throw 2 more women out there and have a match?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Fuck that.
Willow and Sky Blue. If you're trying to build ladies and characters...
Give them,
from the ground
make them tag up.
I mean, even if they fought each other, you're trying to build these women as good wrestlers. Give them the opportunity to shine. I just don't understand the thinking.
I don't understand it one bit. Yeah, it's ridiculous. 1 match, One goddamn match out of 11?
Out of 11.
One match out of 11? Ridiculous.
It's shameful.
It is shameful. I mean, it really is. You're trying...
What does that say to the women that work for you?
Yeah, exactly.
About how you value them.
Oh, exactly. Just call off the division.
Yeah.
Just call it off. I mean, honestly, just call it off. If that's the way you feel, just call it off.
Yeah.
I'm being dead serious.
Mm-hmm.
Just call it off. Let them go work somewhere else.
Or they'll be valued.
It makes me want to start watching Impact. Like, I would love to see some women's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start watching Impact. Shit.
Okay.
They seem to have a robust women's division.
What day of the week does that come on?
I don't know.
We'll do some research.
We'll find out. Did you have anything else to say about this match?
No.
Okay. Up next, we had a coffin match. Coffin tag team match. And just to show you how good this show was so far, I want to tell you my match ratings. Just kind of show you how steady and good it's been. 4 bones, 3.5 bones, 4 bones, 4 bones, 4.5 bones, 4 bones, 4 bones. Pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not usual.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
I can tell you that much. I don't just hand out 4 bone matches like it's going out of style, you know? And up next, we had the Stinger, the Eternal Icon. And he teamed up with Darby Allin to take on Swerve Strickland and Christian. And this match came about because Swerve Strickland didn't break in. He went to Nick Wayne's house and bloodied him and beat the shit out of him and called Darby Allin and said, you know, look at your boy, look what I've done. And of course, Darby Allin, after Nick Wayne's father, Buddy Wayne, died, Darby Allin kind of looked after Nick Wayne as a big brother type of figure and was instrumental in Nick Wayne receiving an AEW contract when he turned 16. And Nick Wayne has just now turned 18 and has become an AEW wrestler. And Darby Allin's still looking after him. And so it was very personal. Darby Allin took it that way. And that's the way Swerve meant it. That's the way Swerve is. He's dirty. He's greasy like that. He will go after the things that you love. He's a bad dude, Swerve is. And that's why he's teaming up with Christian. Because he's a bad dude, too. So Sting and Darby Allin, they have these thumbtack jackets, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're these jackets with thumbtacks pointing out on them. I think that's what they were,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're like,
they're like
custom made. To them, yeah.
Very cool. So they wore those for a bit of the match. Christian went for a concerto on Darby. Did it hit? I don't remember. He didn't hit it.
No, Darby rolled out of the way, and so the chair just hit another chair.
Right. Thank you. At one point, Sting tried a splash on Swerve through a table, but he hit him, and it didn't.
The table didn't break.
And the table didn't break, but he did the splash frontwards.
Mm-hmm.
And so all that happened is what? Did Sting hit the table or what? Swerve, he kind of pushed Swerve's stomach into the table?
Swerve was on the table.
Yeah.
Swerve was laid out on the table.
So Sting,
and then
what?
off the apron, Sting did a splash.
So Sting kind of hit himself onto the table?
Yeah, he like half hit himself, half squished Swerve.
Right, so what happened next is Sting reascends the turnbuckle, and this time he comes off with a flying leg drop. Mm-hmm. And this time the fucking table breaks.
It was off the apron, not off the turnbuckle, though.
That's
a difference. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Well, he's 64 years old.
Well, you said turnbuckle. I was just making sure they understood that he wasn't jumping off the top turnbuckle. I think he's 62.
I think he's 64.
We'll double check.
But I mean, God bless him. Because there are people half his age that wouldn't do that. When you botch a table spot, you know, some people just pass and say, "Oh, let's go to the next thing." Not
64.
64-year-old Sting. 60 fucking 4 years old. Are you hearing me?
I just think about
64 years old.
If I went through a table, it would be like I died. Like, I would just be like so done with life at that point.
Jumping and doesn't get it to break, and instead of moving on, as I said, jumps from the apron with a diving leg drop through a table. 64 years old. This man does not get the respect that he deserves, even still. I know people still clap and act and give him respect and all that, but I don't think he gets the respect that he deserves still being out there doing this. This man is awesome. Let's be honest. He is fucking awesome. I'm not trying to be corny or suck up or any type of thing like that. I'm just keeping it real. This guy is fucking awesome. 64. I'm done now. Nick Wayne comes out. Luchasaurus is out there lumbering around, the TNT champion. Nick Wayne comes out, hits him with a skateboard. Doesn't do much, but does Luchasaurus, what, did he chase him back to the back? Is that what happened?
I think so.
They both
eventually disappeared, so I assume that's what it...
How would you like to see that match? Nick Wayne versus Luchasaurus.
Oh my God. They probably have freaking Nick Wayne win.
I hope not. Darby tried a coffin drop on Swerve, but he missed and hit the coffin. And Darby's body, this is it looked like a real coffin.
I think
looked like a real casket.
I think it's a real casket, yeah.
Darby's body just fucking thud and just bounced a little off of this thing. It looked painful.
But it dented the coffin.
Yeah. I mean, it looked painful.
It looked painful. There was a deep dent.
Swerve stomped the coffin. What the fuck does that mean? Why'd I write that down?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either. So Swerve gets Sting in the coffin, and he's going to close it, but Sting has his trusty bat, and Sting blocks the coffin from closing with his baseball bat. Christian, meanwhile, is on the floor, and he's choking, looks like he's choking Darby Allin to death. After this, Swerve misses a 450 splash. And I don't have the finish written down. Okay, what was the finish in this match?
I also don't have the finish written down, but Sting got Swerve into the coffin, and he and Darby together slammed the lid closed.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. And so Sting and Darby Allin pick up the win. This one, I predicted Swerve, Strickland, and Christian to get the win. I thought the dirty, mean heels were going to get Sting in the coffin and pick up the win. So I was wrong, and at this point I was 4 for 8 in my picks. Kay picked Sting and Darby Allin to get the win, so she got it right, and this actually improved her to 4 and 8. So we're now tied at 4 for 8. I should say.
I was super excited to finally be at 50%.
Yeah. All right. Up next. Up next, we have Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. Oh, wait, did you have anything? I'm sorry, did you have anything to add about the coffin match? I'm sorry.
At one point, yes, I do. So early on, like before they even got the jackets with the tacks on them, Sting.
Krang.
I started to say...
Like from the Ninja Turtles?
I started to say Sting and cricket at the same time, so I got Kring. But Sting grabbed a cricket bat and had that with him instead of his normal black baseball bat, which he eventually pulls out the baseball bat. But he starts out with a cricket bat, which I thought was a nice touch and a nice nod to England and their love of cricket.
Cricket!
At one point during the match, Christian tapes Darby's hands together behind his back so that he can't use his arms. But Darby still wrestles with his arms literally taped behind his back, and he is just like flinging his body at things. Like he throws himself in the corner at the ring at someone, and then he does a running dive on Swerve and Christian on the outside. But again, he has his hands taped behind his back, so he has no protection to like catch himself. It was like the most insane thing I've seen someone do. Like just like legitimately a total lack of care for the consequences of your actions. Like just insanity.
He's crazy.
He's crazy.
With his body, Darby.
Just like total abandon, you know? Just flinging himself without a care in the world. It's just mind-blowing to me. Which is what makes him so great, but also like makes me so scared for him.
Yeah. I hope nothing... I just hope nothing terrible happens to him, because he does some risky stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Like too risky.
Yeah. The only other moment I wanted to mention involved Sting, and this was when he was getting out of the coffin after Swerve tried to get him in there, and it was unsuccessful. After he got out of the coffin, Swerve grabbed a chair and hit him with the chair to the back, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Totally no-sold it, and just, like, stood right up and went straight after Swerve, and it was just, like, such a badass moment. It felt like it was worth mentioning. I like Sting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sting he's on a great run. This old man Sting, I'm really enjoying it.
Because he doesn't seem like old man Sting, you know? At least to me, because I don't know younger Sting.
Yeah, but when you think about it... But see, that's the thing, is he has to be. Because I had, like, memories of being, like, 6 and watching Sting. And that's how I know he has to be old man Sting.
Yeah.
I remember blonde surfer Sting, whatever you want to call him. Crazy, the longevity of that man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So what do we got next?
Up next, Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. And going into this one, I thought this could be one of the better matches of the night, because I heard people, dissing it and dissing Chris Jericho and saying, we don't want this, and Jericho's fat, and Jericho's old, and, whatever else, and saying we wanted Ospreay and Omega, and that one I'm with you. That one, I wanted Ospreay and Omega also. We didn't get it, deal with it, for whatever reason, we didn't get it. But the thing is about Chris Jericho is, he's going to deliver. He delivers. And I knew he would going into this match. I thought he would going into this match, I should say, and he did. And Will Ospreay, I don't even need to tell you. I mean, second to none in the world today. This man is fantastic at what he does. He can wrestle anyone, seemingly any style, and adapt. And, man, he's something else.
Yeah.
I got to find more of his matches and see more, because he is terrific. So Ospreay, very early on, hit a corkscrew splash to the outside. I'm not sure what else to call it. He was spinning around very quickly into the outside. Jericho hit a release German suplex on Ospreay onto the apron. Ospreay hit a Hurricane Rana and then a shooting star. Jericho hit a code breaker. Jericho then got Ospreay into a lion tamer. Sammy Guevara comes down. Seemingly, Jericho's only friend left, apparently. And he brings Floyd, Jericho's trusty baseball bat. And Sammy Guevara hits Ospreay with Floyd. And Jericho hits a code breaker. Again, this is the third code breaker he'd hit in the match at this point. And Jericho mule kicks Ospreay, meaning he kicks him in the nuts, but he kicks him from behind. He kicks him behind himself and kicks him in the nuts. And gets a 2 count only out of that. There's a series of reversals. Ospreay covers Jericho, 2 count. Ospreay gets this twisting DDT move, only a 2 count out of it. There's a running elbow and then a shoulder breaker move. Will Ospreay covers Jericho. He gets the 1, 2, and the 3. And Will Ospreay gets the pin and the win. This was a terrific match. Terrific the whole way. 4.5 bones. This was the match of the night. 4.5 bones out of 5. Match of the night for me. After the match, Jericho a little despondent at losing such a big-time match. Sammy Guevara tried to console him. Jericho pushed Sammy away. So I'm not sure how wise it is to push away your last friend. It's even in that song, Judas, that you shouldn't do it. And it's worth noting that Jericho, actually, the entrance, his band, Fozzy, was there playing Judas live. And Jericho sang his way down to the ring, which I'm not sure... I'm sure that's been done somewhere, but it's never been done on this big a stage before, that's for damn sure. So that was pretty cool to see. Very rock and roll. This one... we both predicted Ospreay to win, and we were both correct. So at this point, we were both 5 for 9 in our picks. And Kay, what do you have to say about Will Ospreay's win over Chris Jericho?
Did you say your bone rating?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I said 4.5 bones out of 5.
Was this your match of the night?
I said that also, yes. Match of the night.
Sorry.
My match of the night.
I was looking at my notes. So you covered most of what I...
this was match of the night. I would put this match of the night, the main event, second place, and...
FTR and the Young Bucks.
Oh, shit. I would put FTR and the Young Bucks second place, the main event third place.
Yeah, me too.
Actually.
Me too. This was match of the night, and for me, I was... surprised by this. Not because I doubted Jericho.
Really? This was your match of the night?
This was my match of the night.
I've trained you well.
That's creepy. Yeah, Ospreay, man. Like, just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. And put him with someone that, like, knows what they're doing, like Jericho, and just magic happens.
Mm-hmm.
So I had most of what you had down. I have a few things that you hadn't mentioned. There was a nice springboard kick to the head of Jericho by Ospreay, where he like ricocheted off the ropes and did like a flipping kick. Jericho gets Ospreay up on the top turnbuckle and does 10 punches to his head, followed by a Hurricane Rana off the turnbuckle by Jericho. I was just so surprised. It was awesome. I was a little bit confused when Sammy hit Ospreay with Floyd, because I thought that they were trying to make them faces, but that's not a very face-like thing to do, so I was a little bit confused by that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And then I found out the twisting move you were talking about at the end, that's the Stormbreaker. It's Osprey's finisher.
The twisting DDT?
Yeah, it's a Stormbreaker.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a good match.
So yeah, Osprey and Jericho, just again a fantastic meeting of it's great that these two can meet, that these two are alive at the same time and can have a match together, because I think they're both two of the best of all time, honestly.
I'll tell you, Tony Khan better try his hardest to get Will Ospreay to change and sign over to AEW when his contract is up.
Yeah. And he said, 6 months from now. Or something like that.
Yeah,
he said
six months, yeah.
So, yeah, he better. Can you imagine Will Ospreay in AEW? I want to see some more Omega and Ospreay and Malachi Black and Ospreay, MJF and Ospreay, Adam Cole and Ospreay.
When you have that, I don't envy Tony Khan. Like, how do you even decide who to give the belt to when you have that many top guys? How do you decide that?
Well, who's going to make money?
But all of them will make money because they're all fantastic.
Well, right now we got MJF. Well, you can only have it for a little bit, and so we got MJF. And we're going to have a showdown with MJF and CM Punk over the belts. And who makes more money, MJF or CM Punk? I'm going to say CM Punk. So I say That was our Alexa, for some reason, is going off. Alexa, stop it! So I'm going to say CM Punk makes more money than MJF. So I say give CM Punk the belt. And then say we're bringing in Will Ospreay in 6 months. I say you let CM Punk and Ospreay feud for the world title. And then who gets it then? That I'm not sure. How do you gauge merchandise sales in Japan versus, merchandise sales from America? How do you gauge those figures against each other? That, I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. When you're comparing CM Punk's drawing power versus Ospreay's, I don't know. I don't know. Again, who should have the title? I don't know. So it may be a wait and see approach on Ospreay, or it may be a cross your fingers and go with Ospreay.
I say cross your fingers and go.
I say probably cross your fingers and go, because that motherfucker is something else.
Yeah.
And he deserves at least a chance at the top. So like I said, I say give CM Punk the title pretty soon here. I think get it off MJF and give it to Punk pretty soon here. And then pretty soon after Ospreay comes in the company, give it to him, I say.
I like the two titles. I don't want them to unify them and just have one title.
Really?
Yeah. I like the real world title on Collision and then the world title.
I think as big as their company is, and I know this is not going to be popular, they need two titles.
I think so too.
With all the talent they have.
Yeah.
I think that two titles serves them well.
Especially since they seem to pretty much be treating the two shows as separate entities. Like, I know there's
Very
some
much
crossover,
so, yeah.
but it's minimal.
Minimal.
I think they need a belt on each show, like a big belt. So, I think...
Yeah, I mean, it pretty much is a brand split. As much as they've said no, and there isn't, and this and that, there is a brand split. Very obviously it is a brand split. So... I think they need to call it something better than the real world title. And they need to legitimize it, quote unquote, legitimize it. And how do you go about doing that? Because right now it is, in the story, it's quote unquote not legitimate.
Well, they need to stop putting quotes around it. That's one way to legitimize it.
Yeah, but you can't just do that. Because the reason that there are quotes around it is it's not legitimate. Because CM Punk legitimately was stripped of it because he couldn't defend it.
So
when you can't defend the belt, it's not yours anymore.
So how do you legitimize it?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you legitimize it. You take it from him, and you wash it off, and you have a tournament for it. That's how you legitimize it.
Wait, you wash the spray paint off?
Yeah.
No, leave the spray paint. I like the spray paint.
And you have a tournament for it.
But he's defending it. It's not like he's not defending the belt. He's not like, it's mine, you can't have it. He's like, it's mine, you can have a chance to have it.
You have somebody come on and explain it to him. Like, you have an authority figure on the brand. And then bam, you got somebody CM Punk can rebel against, which is what it would be great to have someone on the show. I don't know who you make, but you have someone CM Punk can rebel against, which would make for a great character on the show. He needs someone to rebel against.
He needs a Vince McMahon.
Yeah. And then you have him come on there and explain, well, we'll recognize it if this. And if you don't do that, well, we're not going to recognize it. And then leave the choice up to him and let Punk make the choice of, we'll have the tournament for it, and I'll be in the tournament.
But then what do? Do you give it to Punk, like in the tournament?
No.
Who do you give it to?
Like Ospreay. That's what I'm saying.
I see.
Yeah.
I didn't know in the timeline if Ospreay was already in the company when you were doing this or not.
Just say he is.
I see.
And then you do Ospreay. That's just off the top of my head.
So, but then if you're legitimizing it at that point, when you're talking about the belt's history, who's the first person to have the belt? Is it Ospreay or is it Punk?
Depends what you say. You probably have a
Like an asterisk.
An asterisk can be Punk, something like that.
Interesting.
But that's what I would do. And like I said, have it be Punk until Ospreay's in the company. And then have them feud and probably give it back to Punk. And have them I mean, you got one guy who can draw money, and hopefully something's wrong with him the way he's wrestling. I'm telling you, I hope I'm wrong. And he looked fine today.
Yeah, I was looking for it.
But I feel like he's injured. I feel like there's something wrong.
Well, I hope it's something minor.
I hope it's something minor. But like I said, he's wrestling...
Gingerly,
yeah. Just like there's something wrong. Like he's hurt somehow.
Yeah.
So I went and got this book because I wanted to have a figure to quote. Earlier in the show, I mentioned and said today in London, the paid attendance was
81,053,
which is I think it was the highest ever, right?
Yeah, it said a world record.
Because allegedly the highest ever was, let's see, Pontiac Silverdome, WrestleMania 3, the reported highest ever, 93,173. Pontiac Silverdome, WrestleMania 3. I don't know what the real number was, but it's been determined that was not it. This almanac, this is the 2000 Wrestling Almanac and Book of Facts that I'm holding. It's been determined that 93,000 was quite inflated. So I don't know what the real number is, but I don't think it's that. And I think the 81,000 today beat whatever the real number is. That's how much inflated it was.
Wow.
But I went and got this book, not just for that, but because it has what is the biggest wrestling, the legitimate biggest crowd in wrestling history. Not biggest paid crowd, but the biggest wrestling show ever put on. And that's the little story I wanted to tell. This goes back April 28th and 29th, 1995. A little city called Pyongyang, North Korea. And I'm trying to think where to start. So it starts with Eric Bischoff, always a man who is trying to, get WCW in different and new places. He got WCW into Hollywood, and he was a big part of why the movie Ready to Rumble got made. It never would have gotten made without Eric Bischoff, and that was a big deal, getting Hollywood involved and getting a Hollywood movie made out of WCW with, what's his name, David Arquette in it, and wrestlers in it, and all that. And he got WCW in the bike rally in Sturgis. You know, they would go coast to coast with the motorcycles every year to Sturgis, South Dakota, put on a big wrestling show, put on a pay-per-view with the bike rally. Got Jay Leno to come in and wrestle. Got Dennis Rodman, the basketball player, Karl Malone to come on and wrestle. Got etc. Got NFL players to come on. All this. Eric Bischoff's always looking for things, ways to get WCW's name out there. And this is one of those times. And so, back in 1995, he got them on a flight, and Hulk Hogan was asked to go, and he said, "No, I'm fine."
Mm-hmm.
And so Hulk was asked first. Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan, very good friends.
Mm-hmm.
Very good friends. Eric Bischoff loves Hulk Hogan. And so Hogan didn't go. Who do you think they asked next?
Ric Flair?
Exactly. And Flair said, "Oh, Hogan turned you down? Yeah, I'll go." And so now we got the biggest star on the show, Nature Boy Ric Flair. And so they expect to go to North Korea and be treated as special, be treated as dignitaries almost, you know, like it's a, you know, almost like an official, like an ambassadorship almost, you know.
Yeah.
That is not what happens. So several wrestlers go. Ric Flair goes. Scott Norton goes. The Steiner brothers go. Several guys, big group of guys from WCW 95 go. Eric Bischoff goes as well. And they get there, and they're not met as ambassadors. Essentially, from what I've read, they were treated as almost as prisoners, because in North Korea, you know, they're taught. I mean, it's a prison state over there. You know, their people are prisoners of the government. Everyone's a prisoner, in essence, and they're taught that outsiders are the devil, especially the white man, the devil, and outsiders are the devil. So they're seeing all these jacked white dudes, you know, jacked white wrestlers, and they are thinking they're the devil. These the army officers, and they have this army detail guarding them, and they're following them here and there and everywhere. And the army guys posted outside their rooms, and they're not staying in some like nice 4-star hotel. They're staying in something along the lines of what we here would have, like a college dormitory.
Like barracks?
Like a barracks, yeah, exactly. And the guys are staying there. It's the first day, and they're kind of going crazy because there's nothing there's no, you know, they'd usually go meet women, go drinking, do something like that. There's none of that shit going on. This is North Korea. None of that. No carousing. And so at one point, just a story to show you kind of what's going on. Scott Norton and say like Scott Steiner go downstairs, and they find a pool table, and they say, "Hey, we want to play pool. You know, where are the balls?" And they say it takes a fucking hour or whatever but one of the army guys comes back with some balls. Finally, they find the pool balls, and they set it up, and then they're playing. And at some point, though, somebody hits the ball, and the cue ball goes flying off the table. And they said that the army guys acted like they had fucking, you know, to drop their pants and taken a shit in the room or something like that, you know? They acted like this was like an act of war or something. And they put the balls up, put the pool balls up, and no more. That was the end of it. You're back in your rooms. And they said they were getting really fucking sick and tired really quickly of how they're being treated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this was just the first day of the shit.
Mm-hmm. How long were they there for?
I think it was like 3 or 4 days, I believe. Mm-hmm. But and I want to go through the whole thing, but essentially that's what happened. And so April 28th, Pyongyang, North Korea, Mayday Stadium. The live gate was approximately $7 million. $7 million. In the main event, IWGP champion Shinya Hashimoto battled to a 20-minute draw against Scott Norton of WCW. April 29th. This was the Pyongyang International Sports and Culture Festival for Peace. Only a fucking prison state can make up names like that for shit, you know? The live gate was approximately $8.5 million April 29th. In the main event, Antonio Inoki defeated Ric Flair in 14 minutes 52 seconds. The first ever meeting of the two legendary stars. Let me repeat that. Antonio Inoki defeated Ric Flair. That's how much Ric Flair respects Antonio Inoki.
Yeah.
Very famous Japanese wrestler. And basically they did their time and they did their matches and they were fucking out. And the attendance, like I said, today was 81,053. The attendance, April 28th, 150,000. The attendance, April 29th, 95, 190,000.
Because they had to be there.
Because they had to be there, right.
They didn't buy tickets. Or they bought them because they had to buy them.
They had to buy them, right.
Yeah.
They bought them because they had to buy them or they were going to get a bullet in the fucking head.
Or maybe they didn't buy them because then they wouldn't be able to say paid.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. Is in a prison state, that's the thing, is who knows what the truth is.
Yeah.
Because you're not allowed to look at the receipts and the returns, and who knows, were they, did they buy the tickets? Were they forced to, quote unquote, buy the tickets? Were there really any tickets? Did they just receive a letter saying, come to the Pyongyang International Sports and Culture Festival for Peace, or get shot in the fucking head? Yeah. Bring $20, or did it say don't bring any money? Who fucking knows where it begins and ends? That's the thing with a place like North Korea, is you don't know. A place that teaches you that Westerners are the literal devil. That's the thing with a place that sick, is you don't know where it begins and ends. But I hope I didn't go too long. That's the story about the actual biggest crowd in pro wrestling history.
And I have the WrestleMania 3 numbers, the actual number.
What's the actual number?
The actual number is 78,000.
78,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and that got beat today.
Yeah.
So did you have the actual Wembley SummerSlam 92 number?
I don't, but I can look.
Look that up, please. Yeah, SummerSlam 92, August 29th, 92, was in Wembley. And they'd made no mention of that. Well, I couldn't hear the broadcast for the most part today, so they might have mentioned it. But that was the most heard of wrestling show at Wembley before today.
It's got a history with a disputed attendance.
Say what?
There's a disputed attendance record for SummerSlam.
Oh. So there's no official one?
Not that I see.
Oh, okay. Well, even still, the one in this book here, the 80,355, they beat that today. So yeah, we have a new largest attendance ever, and that's something. So yeah, I hope I didn't go on too long. I thought that was an interesting story.
No, it definitely is. I mean,
about, and like I said, 190,000 people to see WCW.
that's crazy. People who I'm assuming aren't normally allowed to watch the wrestling show.
Right, they didn't know who the fuck Ric Flair was.
Yeah.
And they probably didn't care who Ric Flair was.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to get shot in the head that day. So they had to come watch WCW. So they didn't get shot in the head.
Yeah. I guess there are worse ways you could spend your day, be forced to spend your day, you know?
Well, you never saw WCW.
That's true. All right, so back to our show.
Back to our show. Back to present day. AEW. Whatever this show is called. What's it called?
All In.
All In. We have the World Trios Championship match. We have the champions, House of Black, defending against the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass. And the rule today was
so this is a open house rules match, which the House of Black have been doing, and the dealer's choice was no holds barred.
So yeah, no holds barred, no DQ, no count out.
And I would just like to correct you that it wasn't Daddy Ass. It was Badass Billy Gunn.
Excuse me, I've become so used to writing Daddy Ass. It was Badass Billy Gunn. Thank you. He came out of retirement to be Badass Billy Gunn. Thank you for correcting me.
Mm-hmm.
The Acclaimed and Badass Billy Gunn. And so let me ask you, the no holds barred, do you think they took advantage of that well? Because I don't.
I think they did because they were all fighting pretty much the whole time. Like, it allowed them, the no DQ allowed them to all three. They didn't have to tag, you know, like, I mean, they did, but that they didn't get disqualified for beating up the other guys while the people in the ring were doing their thing, you know?
Wouldn't you have brought some fucking weapons?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. Yes, I would have.
You know?
Yeah. Well, maybe after the Stadium Stampede match, they felt like another match with weapons would be overkill.
But no, I'm saying the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn.
Yeah.
Why didn't they bring weapons?
Well, Brody King had like a giant chain that he wrapped around his hand.
Okay, why didn't they bring more?
I don't know.
I'm just saying,
That's a
it's
good point.
dumb.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
I agree.
It's stupid.
So no holds barred means like anything goes?
Yeah.
It doesn't just mean that no holds are barred?
In the olden days, it would just mean no holds. Literally, no holds are barred. Nowadays, it means the same thing as no disqualification.
Oh, okay.
It's taken to mean no disqualification.
Okay. I always took it literally.
No, that's a good question. I mean, that's the way I take it, is no disqualification. Yeah. There are a lot of things in wrestling that just mean no disqualifications.
Mm-hmm.
At one point here, Brody King was way off with a punch, and he hit Malachi Black accidentally. Billy Gunn doing well throughout the match. He hit a Fameasser, his finisher, on Buddy Matthews. Got a 2 count and almost a 3, and the ref got pulled out by Julia Hart. And then it was their own dumb fault because they said no disqualifications, so Julia Hart can pull the referee out. You know, what they should have maybe said is Julia Hart can't be there, but whatever. Billy Gunn, a little later on, takes Brody King down. They're trying to chop him down like a big redwood tree. Bowens is trying to take him down, and he's helping out, and Billy Gunn's trying to take him down, and then they finally do, and Max Caster is on the top rope. He comes flying off the top rope with his mic drop, elbow drop, gets the cover for the 1, the 2, and the 3, And the motherfucking Acclaimed and Billy Gunn are the new World Trios champions, and the place goes wild. Very good match. Great to see the Acclaimed with some belts again, and Billy Gunn with a belt again. Very good match. 4 bones out of 5. And this one, I predicted the House of Black to win, so I was 5 for 10. Kay predicted the Acclaimed and Billy Gunn to win, so she takes the lead. She is now 6 for 10.
Yeah.
And Kay, what do you have to say about the World Trios Championship match?
So, I want to clarify something about the ending of this match. So, it wasn't just one of them that got the pin. All 3 men pinned Brody King to keep him down, and that's how they got the win.
Oh, I think, how did I miss that?
I don't know, but all 3 of them were on him.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah, it was like a series of moves, like the leg drop by Billy Gunn, and then Bowens hit a move, and then Max Caster hit the mic drop, and he kicked out when Caster went and pinned him. So then Bowens hit his move again. Caster hit the mic drop again, and then all 3 of them like laid on top of Brody King for the pin.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, it's I wanted to note that at the beginning of the match, Julia Hart kind of stood on the apron to block Billy Gunn from doing a Suicida move, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so they pulled Julia Hart into the ring and did a scissor me timbers on her, which was odd. Because usually in American wrestling, you're not allowed to touch the ladies.
Right, yeah. That's worth noting,
yeah.
Usually you don't see the men hit the women, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I just wanted to point that out because it was something that was so different from the norm.
That's a good call, yeah.
And there was one really nice moment for Billy Gunn where he was taking on Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews at the same time and, like, going back and forth between them, like, hitting them or whatever, you know? And it was nice to see this, like, victorious moment of him over Malachi after Malachi kind of whispered and deflated his ego or whatever, you know, to make him want to retire. So it was just a nice moment in the match. But overall, this match was really good. Mm-hmm. I'm glad the Acclaimed won. I thought it made sense for them to win. And I'm excited to have new trios champions. I mean, the House of Black had a really good run, and I'm a little sad to see their run over since they were such a fearsome crew. But that's why I think it's so important to note that all 3 of them pinned Brody King, because, like, how else are you going to keep this monster down, you know?
Yeah, and Brody King, fearsome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what a formidable foe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really. All right, we'll move on. We have one match left, the night's main event. We have the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. That's odd saying, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
The Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions duking it out. The AEW World Championship is the prize, and you have the champion MJF taking on the challenger Adam Cole. Bebe. And so these two, they start off with the Better Than You Bebe tank tops on, and to show that they're on the same team, you know. Mm-hmm. And they're fighting for a little bit, and Cole kind of gets flustered a little bit with MJF, and he takes off MJF's tank top and throws it. I didn't care for that a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me either.
And so they're getting going. We see a Heat Seeker pile driver for 2 count by Adam Cole. We see a nice sheer drop brainbuster by Cole on MJF. At one point, MJF thought about tombstoning Cole through the table, but didn't. Cole did hit a tombstone pile driver on MJF.
Through the table.
Through the table.
Well, the table didn't collapse, so I guess it was just on the table.
On the table. And eventually the two pinned each other. And the ruling was a draw. Adam Cole demands 5 more minutes. MJF says no. He says, you don't get 5 more minutes, Adam. He says, we're going till we get a winner in fucking Wembley. And the crowd goes crazy. Cole pins MJF for a 2 count very quickly. And then the ref is down or turned around or something. MJF wraps a chair around his own head. This is a takeoff on the old Eddie Guerrero bit. MJF wraps a chair around his own head and falls down. And I don't have how the bit ended. He didn't get away with it, though.
No, he didn't get away with it.
He didn't get away with it, yeah. I think the ref figured out what he had done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Adam told him.
Adam told him, okay, yeah. Cole is arguing with the ref. He gets rolled up by MJF for a 2 count. Out on the floor, Cole hits a Panama Sunrise on MJF. Back in the ring, gets a 2 count on the champ. Back in the ring, MJF moves. The referee, Bryce Remsburg, moves him in the way of the Panama Sunrise, and Cole hits the Panama Sunrise on the referee. MJF goes to his trunks for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Strong comes out. Roderick Strong, he's out. He comes up behind MJF and low blows him.
I think you should note that he takes off his diamond ring and puts it back in his trunks
Thank
before
you,
that
yes.
happens.
Yeah.
So he decides not to use it.
Right. And Roderick Strong comes up behind MJF and low blows him. Cole hits the Panama Sunrise and hits the boom, his knee, on MJF. The ref is still out for like a 7 count by the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
You know, visible 3 count is what we call it, but it's like a 7 count. And the ref wakes up. 1, 2, no. And Adam Cole, dejected, can't believe this, feels like he's been robbed. MJF grabs Adam Cole, a small package for the pin and the win. MJF, still your AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And Cole is tossing a hissy fit, basically, that he couldn't win the big one, couldn't win the world title. And he's sobbing over in the corner. And MJF asks Cole if his friendship was all fake. And, he says, was it fake? Was it all an act? Was it all for this? And he holds up the world title belt. And he says, was it all just for this? And he says, here, take it. And he throws it over at Adam Cole. He says, go ahead, take it. And he tries to get Cole to turn on him. And he turns his back on Adam Cole. And he says, here, go ahead, do it. And he's trying to get him to, hit him with a belt or whatever. And Roderick Strong, at the same time, is trying to get Adam Cole to turn. And he's saying, yeah, hit him, go ahead, and this and that and the other. And
he doesn't. He drops the belt.
And he drops the belt. And the two embrace. And they hug it out.
Roderick Strong's disgusted and walks away.
Yeah, I tell you, if I had a friend where I had this much of a tumultuous relationship that I had to constantly talk him down from hitting me with blunt objects, I don't think we would be friends. Right?
Yeah, but his career, which you are a part of, is hitting people with blunt objects.
No, it's not. That's illegal in the career.
Well, yeah, but that's how you get the win.
No. Okay, no. No. Those people are called rule breakers.
Well, one thing that I want to mention that happened towards the end of the match, before MJF gets the roll up and the 3 count, Roderick Strong gives Cole the belt during the match, and Cole drops it and says, and like shakes his head no. You can see him like considering it. So Cole could have won if he had cheated, because he had the opportunity. The ref's back was turned, and he chose not to. So I think lots of us were expecting a heel turn. I know I was, from Cole here, and that is like the opposite of what we got.
I expected a heel turn. So this match, very good. 4.5 bones out of 5. A very good match. I predicted MJF to win. I was right. I finished 6 for 11 on the night. But unfortunately, Kay also predicted MJF to win. So she finished 7 for 11. Not too bad, given her start.
Yeah.
She finished 7 for 11, and she has won back the Predictions Championship belt.
Yay!
So we could have some photos online, maybe. But she has won the Predictions Championship belt. So, Kay, what do you have to say about the championship match?
It was fun. It was a fun one. When they did the draw ending at first, I knew that they had to have something up their sleeve, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I think I wanted to point out the draw happened because they did a double clothesline on each other, which was clever in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, there was a sheer drop brainbuster by Cole on the stairs that looked just brutal. And they didn't really point out which people were his parents, but they said that it was in front of MJF's parents that were in the audience in the front. There's a nice Canadian destroyer by MJF. And I feel like, you hit all the big spots. So I guess the best part about this match was how much it toyed with your emotions and how tense you were for both of these men, because you just felt like one of them had to be screwing the other one over by the end of the match, and this like will he or won't he with MJF and Adam Cole just made for such great TV drama, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed it, and I'm very glad they hugged it out at the end, because it means we get more of them, and since they're ROH Tag Team Champs now, I think we're going to keep them together for a while.
And I assume they'll be on Ring of Honor at some point, or just the tag titles will stop appearing on Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Which is probably more likely,
yeah.
Which is a shame, because they have a great tag team division over on Ring of Honor.
Phenomenal tag team division, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you think happens from here? Like, do you think Adam Cole is going to still pursue another chance at getting the belt, or do you think he's going to resign himself that he didn't win it, and now MJF is going to pursue other contenders?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm asking.
So, MJF isn't going to pursue contenders.
Well, are other contenders going to pursue him?
Has he been turned? Is he the type of man now who does pursue contenders?
No, I don't
No,
think so.
Still no?
No, I think he made a special exception for Adam Cole, and it was only for Adam Cole, because he only cares about Adam Cole.
So, so yeah, that raises the question, since Cole is such a good buddy, does Cole get another title shot?
Will that make his third title shot?
Well, so here's the question. Say the answer is yes. But MJF still, so he has to defend the title. Usually we say every 30 days is what most belts have been throughout wrestling history. We say you have to defend it every 30 days at least.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the kind of thing we'll get is MJF says, yeah, you can get another shot, buddy. And I'll be like, oh, great. Tonight, in 30 days, something like that.
Yeah.
I have to defend it every 30 days. And he said, I'll see you in 30 days, bud. And, and then Adam Cole just can't wait. And so we have this 30 days, and where he's just cannot wait. It's killing him to get at it, and we have a kind of that countdown.
So you would give him another shot at it?
I think that would be interesting, yeah. To have their friendship with this, like, countdown clock on it.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting. And especially with the level of matches they've been turning out.
Yeah, great.
I think definitely, yeah. Now, that's one way to go. The better way, what I would actually do, what's more interesting, is go with CM Punk and the double world title belts.
I'm not ready for that yet. I don't think it's time yet.
No, it's time.
No, I think they...
No, we're trying to make some money. It's time.
No,
MJF, CM Punk, and the double world title belts.
No, you save that for All In next year is what you do. Unifying the belts at All In next year, if you're going to do that, which I don't think you should do. Yeah, that's like a biggest stage of all match. MJF and CM Punk. Plus, what kind of match would you do with them? You already had them in a dog collar match.
Ladder match.
Ladder match for, like, the belt hanging above. I gotcha.
Ladder match, both belts hanging above, right? Or you make a new belt and hang it up there. Get rid of both of the world titles and make a new one.
I want to keep them both. So
that would be fun.
Really,
but they're identical.
No, one has a giant X spray painted on it.
Clean it off.
No, I like it.
Nobody wants that on it but Punk.
I want it on it.
Nobody wants that on it but Punk. So,
really quickly, because I know we're running out of time here, I wanted to talk about the overall show and the overall feel of the show as compared to WrestleMania. Yeah. Because this is like AEW's WrestleMania. At the end of the show, we need to point out, AEW announced that they are going to be returning next year on August 25th, 2024, to Wembley for All In.
Is this how you're telling me we're going?
This is not how I'm telling you we're going. It's the first week of school. I can't miss the first week of school. I'm the teacher. But we'll talk about it. But so what I'm saying is this is going to become basically their WrestleMania show, their biggest show every year, presumably.
It has to.
It has to be. I don't want this to be a carbon copy of WrestleMania, but what I feel like they were missing was an increased level of pageantry.
Yeah.
So at WrestleMania, you have like insane entrances. You have crazy costumes, like you have all these guests coming in, you have a host, to help like guide the viewers through the show. I don't feel like they need to go outside of what their product is normally, necessarily, but I feel like they needed to elevate their product for the show and they didn't.
Yeah, I agree.
They did increase the pyro once they got
I think they should
to
have
the
done
later matches.
All that.
I don't think it needs to be on the same scale as WrestleMania.
No,
that's like a ridiculous scale.
But they should have done. They should have had
different entrances, costumes
than just walking out.
Yeah. Which MJF wrote out, so they did something special for MJF, and that was about it.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Should have had some different entrances.
Well, we had Swerve's, the people who do Swerve's song did it live, walking him out to the ring. And then we had Jericho singing his own. Yeah. And MJF came out on a driving throne with, like, girls dressed in, like, angel wings with masks, like, bowing to him as he went by. But that was the extent of the pageantry. And at WrestleMania, it's like every entrance gets something, and I also feel like while there was an increased amount of pyro, there was not enough pyro.
I agree.
And I wanted the light up bracelets that one dude on Twitter has been tweeting about every day since Wembley got announced. I think that would have been, because you could even like forget the entrances. You could have just used the bracelets, because they can change colors and stuff and pulsate and turn off and on. And I think that would have been an easy and cheaper way to do it than give everyone like a crazy elaborate entrance or insane amounts of pyro, but still make it like cool and special for each person. Yeah, I just wanted to.
I'd rather have the pyro. Pyro's cool.
Yeah, pyro's cool.
Yeah, no, they definitely should have stepped it up. I mean, that was a big missed opportunity. For them to really step up on the world stage and be like, here we are. It was a big missed opportunity. And now they did it with the performances. And like I said, the lowest rated match was 3.5 bones.
Which one was that?
That was the FTW match, Hook and Jack Perry, and even that was good.
It's short.
That's why it was 3.5.
Yeah,
I mean, like if they had gone much longer, they probably would have gotten a 4. But it's just short.
Yeah.
It just wasn't much of anything. Nothing against it. It was too short to be much of anything. So 3.5 bones out of 5 is all it got. But everything else, like I said before, 4 bones, 3.5 bones, 4 bones, 4 bones, 4.5, 4, 4.5, 4, 4.5. This is the most highly rated show that we've done since we've existed. When did we start? February?
You started in February. I joined you in March.
Since we started in February. This is and it's not even close.
Yeah.
This is the most highly rated show we've done. So, like I said, the performances were there, but the presentation wasn't there.
Yeah.
Now, the announcers were there, sure, but the visual presentation is what I mean.
Yeah.
They could have done with more pyro, better entrances, and like you said, like maybe a host, or have some. It's such a big show. Have some like skits or backstage stuff, or and we just got match. It got a little old, honestly. Like, give me a little backstage stuff.
I'm not with you on that. I did not think it got old. I love it when they just throw out all the other stuff and just cram all the rest of it.
No, on a big show, I want some big stuff to happen.
Yeah.
I want some events to happen.
Well, we were told there would be surprises. Was
yeah,
the surprise
we were told to be. Was it a surprise that there aren't any on your big show?
No, I thought maybe the surprise was that they're coming back to Wembley next year. But that's more like an announcement than a surprise.
I was told there would be surprises, and there weren't any goddamn surprises.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what he was thinking promising that.
Well, in fairness, at WrestleMania, they promised surprises, and it was Pat McAfee and Shane McMahon,
Yeah, that sucked.
So, Mercedes Moné was in the audience.
At least they had surprises, though. They didn't lie.
That's true. They just weren't good surprises.
Yeah, they just weren't good. They didn't say you'll like them. Here, they just didn't have them after promising them. Yeah, that's cool seeing Mercedes Moné in the audience. We didn't even mention that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't see the show, Mercedes Moné, you probably know her better as Sasha Banks from WWE. She was in the audience. She's been Mercedes Moné in Japan and on the independent scene. That probably would be what she would be known as if AEW were to sign her, Mercedes Moné. And a lot of people want her to get signed, and she seems to be happy not being signed. So I don't know, they probably have to throw a big chunk of change to sign her.
Which, if I were her and I was in Stardom, I would not leave to a company. I think so.
I don't know.
I would not leave to go to a company that does one women's match out of 11 on their biggest show of all time.
We gotta find out when Stardom's...
I'm not sure.
Alexa, be quiet. We gotta find out when when we can see Stardom.
Yeah. Okay, so when can they hear from us again?
So, folks, well, let me figure out what day it is.
Today is Sunday.
So, folks, you can hear from us again Tuesday for
This Week in AEW.
This Week in AEW. And then you'll hear from us on Saturday for WWE Weekly.
And coming up, September 4th,
Oh.
Labor Day.
Big one.
We got a big one.
September 4th, Labor Day, 4:30 p.m., I think.
Yes.
4:30 p.m. We're going to be live watching a WCW Halloween Havoc. I'm not telling you which one. But
there will be costumes.
There will be costumes. There will be pageantry.
There will be snacks.
We're going to be live streaming it together. So a watch along.
Yeah.
So basically it will be, we're all going to watch Halloween Havoc together. We'll be hosting it. And, you have to have WWE Network on your, you have to have a Peacock subscription. So you have to, on your Peacock, go to the Halloween Havoc. We'll tell you play Halloween Havoc 1999 or whatever. And then we'll have a countdown until you press play now. So, we're synced up. And then we'll watch it together and we'll crack some jokes. We'll make some observations. We'll have some fun and it'll be a great time.
And it'll be spooky.
And it'll be a little spooky because it is Halloween. So watch yourself.
And this is going to be the first in a series of Halloween Havoc.
Exactly. That's why we're starting on September 4th. We're getting an early start because I think this is going to go well. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So we want to do it several times. That's why we're starting September 4th. Because I want to do like 6 of these at least through the Halloween season. So we want to do it a bunch with you. But yeah, September 4th, Labor Day, 4:30 p.m., we're going to hold them at different times, too. But there are reasons why we're doing this one at 4:30. So just deal with it. If you don't like the time, the next one will be at a different time, I promise.
And, it'll be on YouTube, so you can always watch it later.
Exactly. It will be on YouTube, so if you can't make it live, you can watch it by yourself anytime you want.
Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get notifications when we post new videos, such as our Halloween Havoc watch-alongs, and so you get notifications when we go live.
Exactly. And I thought I had something to say. Also,
and make sure you subscribe.
Wherever
good podcasts are found.
Yeah.
And rate us.
Give us 5 bones, 5 stars, whatever they'll let you give us. Give it to us. Yeah, because that's how we find new listeners, new viewers, and that's how we get a new audience, and then we can all talk wrestling together, and it'll be a beautiful thing. So, folks, we will see you Tuesday for This Week in AEW, and we will see you Saturday for WWE Weekly.
And as Mick Foley would say, have
a nice day. Bye.